Phew. Another one. Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but have not subscribed yet, please do so, along with hitting that thumbs up button for me and dropping your comments. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and feelings about anything Knicks. Well, welcome back. The second half of the season has officially begun, even though we are past the midway point. All-Star game is over. That was, I had high hopes for it. The first couple of games there, the players looked serious. They looked like they didn't want to lose in that first round. But then when it came to that second round, or the final, the championship, it was a total letdown. They need to keep working on it. Maybe they just go back to the way it was. Just go back to the way it was. You know, it is what it is. The players are going to have to make it meaningful for themselves if they want to basically save the weekend itself, save the event. I think there was definitely too much entertainment, non-basketball entertainment tried to wedge into this thing. That I didn't need at all. But that is over. What has begun was Game 55 for the Knicks. They hosted Chicago Bulls at MSG, and it went to overtime. So back-to-back overtime games for the Knicks, and they won. Woo! It was too close for me, personally. Man, like I tweeted out, if the rest of the season is going to be like this, I'm going to need a pacemaker to survive this thing. And it's what happens when you don't have a defense that can just shut down an opponent when they need to. There have been moments throughout the season where we've seen that, but it didn't happen tonight. Now, let's be fair. Josh Hart didn't play. OG Anunoby didn't play. Even though there's good news on that front, which we'll talk about. Josh Hart has what's called a runner's knee, so he needs rest. It's from overuse. So hopefully he'll be ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is the game. Tomorrow is a big, big game against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. It's the second game against them. We played them, I think it was in Game 3 of the season. And basically, in my opinion, the Knicks gave that game away. We had that game won. Now, they're two very different teams now than they were back then. The Knicks, Knicks basically defensively have improved, though sometimes it does seem like they haven't. However, I expect to see a better effort tomorrow against the Cavs than we saw today against the Bulls, especially if we do get... and there's a possibility that OG is available for tomorrow. He didn't play tonight, and I'm glad he didn't, because if he's going to start off, if he's going to come back from injury, he's missed 5 games already. If he's going to come back from injury, let it be against the conference-leading Cleveland Cavaliers, who we need to show up against. Now, is that a win? Is that a must-win game? In my opinion, it is not. It's not. Because we still don't have Mitch. Guys are banged up. Like Josh Hart just missed this game. OG will be coming back. Look how rusty this team was. Karl-Anthony Towns was 2 for 15 in the first half of this game and finished with 32 points. So it just shows the swings are crazy in this game. But the New York Knicks did pull it out. I got highlights for you guys. I got the stats breakdowns. Let's get to it. Here we go, 113-111. The Knicks had 3 starters with 20 points or more. All 5 starters finished in double figures. Precious Achiuwa started in place of OG Anunoby, and Miles Deuce McBride started in place of Josh Hart, and he was excellent tonight. We don't win this game without what Deuce provided. But this guy, what he did, it was unbelievable, especially when you look at what he did in that first half. It was like he looked so cold. He was absolutely ice. He was buckets, man. It's like someone doused him with ice and threw him out on the court. This is what he had in the first half. 6 points. He was 2 of 15. 15 shot attempts, the most on the team, and shot only 13%. 1 of 7 from the three-point line. But then when you look at what he did in the second half, everything changed dramatically, especially in that third quarter. It was really the third quarter that all of this happened. 9 of 11, hit one three-pointer, and he picked up 20 points to go along with his 5 rebounds. He finished with 18 rebounds for the game. Outstanding effort from him. At one point, he just looked completely unstoppable, and the Knicks needed it desperately because Jalen Brunson only scored 4 points in the second half. That's right. But Deuce came through. Mikal Bridges, who started off incredibly cold, he picked it up in the second half, finished with 11 points, and he maybe had the biggest play of the game. He was under the basket. The game was tied. There was no time left on the shot clock, or maybe a couple seconds. They inbounded the ball, and they got it to Vucevic. He was isolated with Mikal Bridges, and somehow Mikal was able to use his absurd length to block the shot. It was basically a game-tying block. It was just unbelievable. It was sent it into overtime. Tremendous play for him. He started off rocky defensively and offensively in the first half, but picked it up as the game went along. I've looked at stats for him. He doesn't. You know, what's weird about him is you give him lots of days of rest, he actually plays worse. It's just the way he is, just the way his mind is set up, I imagine. But let's get back to this here. Karl-Anthony Towns, 32 points, 18 rebounds to go along with his 2 assists, and Deuce McBride, 23 points for him, 6 rebounds, 9 of 19 overall, 5 made 3-point shots for Mr. Miles Deuce McBride, and we needed every single one of them. Especially, he had this one step-back 3 in overtime, which was fantastic. I think it actually finally gave us the lead again. It may have been the 113th point. I can't remember. But the Knicks went ice cold at one point with like a minute and 50-something seconds left in that overtime and just basically had to survive the Bulls coming up. But the Bulls shot terribly overall. They shot under 40% overall, but they shot 39.6% from the three-point line on 48 three-point attempts. Now, the beauty is the Knicks put up 46 three-point attempts. Now, they only shot 30.4% overall, but they connected on 14 three-pointers, and that was crucial for the Knicks to be able to survive this Chicago Bulls situation, because the teams combined only went to the free throw line 22 times. That's somewhat not that. I mean, that's okay for one team to go to the free throw line. This was both teams. The Knicks went 10 times, and the Bulls went 12 times to the free throw line. So this was a game where the refs allowed these guys to play. And it was a little, you know, I'm okay with what happened tonight in terms of the foul calling or non-calling, allowing them to play a good game. And also, Deuce was outstanding defensively. He picked up 3 steals. Yeah, 3 steals and 3 blocks for the shortest man on the court. Here are the stats. Let's get to the highlights. Here we go. The Knicks got off once again to an incredibly slow start, cold start. They only could muster up 19 points in this first quarter. That was a nice shot right there. That was Towns hit. Is that Towns? Yeah, Towns hit that. Towns, that was his one made bucket. That was his only bucket that he made in that first quarter. Precious got off to a nice start. 2 of 3 in his 8 minutes in that first quarter. But Mikal Bridges, 0 for 3. Brunson, you know, he came through with 5 points in that first quarter as well. But man, Landry Shamet came in, hit a free throw, hit a 3-pointer. But Deuce only took 2 shots, buried 1, and there was a 3-pointers. And he picked up a steal immediately right away, and he got a block right away. It took a while for the Knicks to shake off the rust from the All-Star break, the rest. Oh, here we go. Oh, Ariel Hawkporty got into the game early, which was nice. You can see, I think that's Jalen Smith, got hit in the face. He had to leave the game. Ariel Hawkporty gave the Knicks a nice 4-minute stretch, picked up a couple rebounds. Didn't get any blocks in that first quarter, but man, did he have a huge block later on. He was hunting for it. You'll see it. Hopefully they'll have it in the highlights. So here we are now. We're into the second quarter. It's a tight game. And then Precious buries a corner 3. We want to see more of that. Precious, he had a good game. He had a good game overall, though he does continually make mistakes that are unnecessary. I don't even want to get into that part, but look at Deuce, another steal. Deuce was making shit happen. I loved it. He came through with 5 points in that second quarter, but Brunson finally woke up. He gave 13 points in that second quarter to help the Knicks take the lead as they went into the half. The Knicks were leading 50-43, but they could only put up 50 points in that first half, but only allowed 43. So here the Knicks had made a little run here, 6 of 7, so 7 of 8. Nice little run. They got some space between them and the Bulls in terms of the score. They were up by 8 here, but Vooch, deadly turnaround. Hey, the Bulls are an interesting team. You know, they don't have Zach LaVine anymore, but you know, these guys love to launch threes. They love to launch them, and when they're hitting them, man, they can beat you. They can put a scare into you. And the Knicks were lucky that Kobe White was not that effective this game. For the game, Kobe White only shot 5. Well, he ended up 5 of 11 overall, but he got off to a really cold start in that first half. He was 1 for 4, only 2 points for him. Vooch was the main scorer for them in that first half, 14 points. Now here we go into the third quarter. The Knicks were up by 7, and now they allowed the Bulls to kind of creep back into this game. As you can see here, this was a game where there were, how many lead changes were there in this game? There were 13 lead changes in this game. The game was tied 4 times. The biggest lead for the Knicks was 11, and the biggest lead for the Bulls was 6. The Bulls were able to recapture the lead midway through the fourth quarter, and you started wondering, oh, is this going to be one of those painful games where the Knicks just give it away? But no, they didn't allow that. They stepped up with some big timely. They got a couple of timely stops towards the end of the fourth quarter, but they allowed the Bulls to get too comfortable out there in space. And they had guys out there who were contributing for them that you wouldn't normally expect. Let's see. They had, Josh Giddey had himself a tremendous game. He's 27 points, 16 rebounds for him, 4 assists. He shot 66% from the three-point line. He definitely was the offensive star for the Bulls. And then you hit big 3-point. And here come the Bulls right now. So now it's only a 4-point game. Mikal starts to heat up, especially in this fourth quarter, which was desperately needed. The New York Knicks could only put up 21 points in that fourth quarter. So in the first and fourth quarters combined, the Knicks can only put up 40 points. That's rough. You're not going to win many games when that's what's happening. But luckily, Deuce was there to save us with 5 points in that fourth quarter, and Mikal Bridges, who played the entire fourth quarter, along with Precious. Mikal came through with 4 of 6, 9 points for him, 2 assists, 2 blocks in that fourth quarter, and that 1 big block, which hopefully they will show it here. So now we're down 2. Big bucket right here from Mikal Bridges. This is what I'm saying. Offensively, he stepped up. It was interesting. It was like a different player every quarter that came through and led the way, but the one constant was Deuce the entire time. There's Josh Giddey right there, putting the Bulls up ahead. This was a nice play right here. Nice 3-point shot from Deuce, one of his 5 3-pointers he hit in this game. They pass it around. I don't know why Deuce was so deep in the paint there. Those are the defensive scheme items that Thibs has to focus on. Too many times we're out of position and we give up wide open looks. And when you give wide open looks to great 3-point shooting teams, you're going to get your butt beat, as we've seen with Boston, as we've seen. It just happens. And this was a big bucket right here to tie the game, 104-104. Here it is. Look at him. Look at that. Bridges blocked him. Outstanding. We go to OT. That was a tremendous play. I would say that was probably the play of the game. Because right there, Vooch right there down on the block. That would have been, the Bulls would have won the game in regulation. Then Giddey comes out, starts burying some buckets. And here we go. Here comes Deuce. Look at this big one here. Boom. Deuce McBride. So now it's 107-106. Nice little 2-man game there with Brunson and Cat. Cat takes it to the hole here. He fumbles it, but was able to do a turnaround. Jay, put us ahead. Now we're up 5 points. I think we're going to make this one here. Flat-footed shot for Cat. Now we're up 7 points with a minute and a half left. And the cold snap happens. Now, Kobe finally wakes up a little bit. He came through with some nice buckets for them there. And then this three-pointer there. That was brutal. Now, why was Precious... Where were his hands? How come he didn't challenge that? Like he challenges it here. If he had done that defensive effort earlier on, we wouldn't be in that situation right there. So those are the things that I'm talking about. Those are the things that, even though he did have a very good game, that's very frustrating about Precious. We desperately need OG Anunoby back on this team. Desperately. And we missed Josh Hart as well. So this was... Look, a win is a win. Going to take him. Going to take everyone we can get. The New York Knicks right now. Where are we right now in the standings? Well, let's get. We'll go back to that. You can see here the final stats. Precious 11 points with 11 field goal attempts, 9 rebounds for him. Though I meant to tell you, if you play 46 minutes and you're a 6'9" power forward / backup center, you should be average. You should get at least double digit in reboundings, especially in overtime game. 46 minutes, only 9 rebounds, 0 assists for him. Mikal Bridges 13 points. He got a double-double. 10 rebounds for him. Rebounding is not his forte, but he knew he had to step up in this game because we're missing OG as well. 5 assists for him. Not a great shooting night overall, but he picked it up. It was mostly the first half was just atrocious for him. Towns, 14 of 30, only 2 of 10 from the three-point line, but I'm glad he shot that many three-pointers. He has to keep shooting it. He's got to keep that defense honest because if he starts abandoning that three-pointer, they're going to basically just keep playing him for the drive every time. So now he shoots the three-pointer. They know they can never leave him. Well, they can't really guard him that well, especially Vooch out on the perimeter. It just helps keep the defense honest, and I'm glad he took that many. Brunson was only 2 of 9 from the three-point line. Not an effective shooting night for him. In his 38 minutes, he shot 8 of 21 for 22 points, but he did pick up 12 assists for him, so he had a double-double. Knicks had 3 players with double-doubles, and Deuce McBride, 42 minutes, as I showed before, 23 points for him, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. That is a beautiful stat line to go along with his 3 steals and 2 blocks. 2 blocks or 3 blocks? I think 3 blocks. Ariel Hockporty, 17 minutes of play for him to go along with his 5 rebounds. Campaign, again, could he have been a better shooting version of Campaign? We could use it, but he's like that guy. Some games he comes out, he buries 3 or 4 three-pointers. Sometimes he goes, 1 for 7 from the three-point line. So at least this time he was able to keep that down. Only 1 for 3. He obviously didn't have it offensively. So he tried to make plays other ways, and he did by getting 5 assists in his 17 minutes of play. DeLon Wright saw 1 minute of action there. It was towards the end of regulation or end of overtime. He was in there for defense. I expect him to see a little more time, especially if Hart does end up missing maybe tomorrow's game, and if OG doesn't come back. I think DeLon Wright will probably see some more time. Landry Shamet, very effective game for him in his 17 minutes of play. 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Finished with 7 points. I liked what I saw from him, his activity, his hands. Definitely gave the Knicks a positive effort tonight. Excuse me. Let's see. The plus-minus. It's an interesting story. The plus-minus is very accurate here. It's interesting, though, that Deuce was a -2. But that was probably, he was on the court at that moment when the Bulls were making that bit of a run. And again, that's a lot of minutes. A lot of minutes for a bench player to play. 42 minutes for a bench guy. I think he got a little winded. We saw Ariel Hockporty got a little winded at one point, and he had only played 17 minutes as well himself. But everybody was plus, except for Deuce was a -2 here. This shows. This pretty much represents what we saw. The Knicks did get 7 blocks and 10 steals in this game, but only 28 assists. The Bulls, here we go. You can see Vooch, 21 points for him. Lonzo Ball, 14. Kobe White did end up finishing with 11 points after starting off very cold in that first half, where he only had 2 points. So he at least was able to wake up a little bit. But Josh Giddey was the scoring star for them. 27 points for him. I'll tell you, he definitely, I think he can be a player in this league going forward. He definitely can be a player in the right situation, as my buddy Stephen Fox, shout out to him, mentioned to me. This guy Phillips, second-year player, he had some effective minutes for the Bulls, 12 points for him in his 23 minutes of play. And the Knicks, let's keep going here. Let's go to these team stats over here. Let's go over here. All right, so here you can see the team comparisons. The second chance points were pretty even, 10-9. The points in the paint, the Knicks did win that battle, 48-40. I would like for the Knicks to have won that by like double digits, maybe even 20 points, maybe a 60-40 type situation. But I'll take it, especially on a night when they're not shooting that well from the three-point line. But something's got to give. If you're going to launch 44 three-pointers or 46, whatever they ended up doing, it's going to happen. But they did, even though they did not have Josh Hart, who is their fast break specialist, the Knicks were able to dominate that aspect of the game. They were a +9 in fast break points, 17 points, fast break points for the Knicks, only 8 for the Bulls. And as you can see in stocks, the Knicks won that battle, 17 stocks compared to 12 for the Bulls. And you can see, look at that. The field goal shooting percentages were dismal, man. 30% for the Knicks from the three-point line, but they shot 43% overall. And rebounds. The Knicks were able to eke out that battle, 54-53. And the assists, 28-24 right there. And I saw a lot of rust. I saw a lot of rust, and the Knicks were missing 2 starters. So you're going to expect a lack of cohesion on the team and some rustiness. I expect that this will be a nice warm-up game for tomorrow's major battle against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let's talk about that a little bit. So I mentioned earlier that I don't think it's a must-win game. I know for a lot of people, we just want to see it happen. But as I've mentioned before, back in 2021, the Knicks swept the season series against the Atlanta Hawks 4-0, and then got gentlemen swept by them in the first round, 4-1. So it's not, what happens in the regular season isn't always indicative of what's going to happen in the playoffs, especially when you have a team like the Knicks who are missing a key component to their defense, when defense is the major weakness on this team. This team that goes through some cold spells, offensively it does, but man, can this team get blazing hot at any moment. And they've shown it time and time again. They have one of the top 5 offenses in the NBA, and the defense has been marginally improving. But when Mitch returns, even if he only plays about 20 minutes a game, I know some people think he's only going to play 18 or something. I think by the end of this season, he will probably be averaging in the mid-20s, if you know Tom Thibodeau, the way it works. And I love that Cat already has a couple seasons having played with a big similar to Mitch in Rudy Gobert. So he understands how he's going to have to adapt his game. It's going to be a matter of trying to exploit the advantage that Mitch gives you. And he gives you tremendous advantages. I would love to see a nice rim running game between Brunson and Mitch, or anybody who's got the ball, who's driving in that pistol action, and you send Mitch off from, keep Mitch out on the wing, try and spread the offense, spread the defense as much as you can, even though they're going to ignore him there. The problem is when you ignore Mitch out there and he starts charging towards the hoop and he gains momentum, you're basically fucked as a defense. You are, unless you have a high-flying defensive 5 out there, or somebody to stop Mitch from catching the ball and just dunking the shit out of it. So as they start exploiting that, then there's going to be another layer that's going to happen. And this is the beauty of having corner snipers like the Knicks have, is once Mitch starts diving at the rim, as Brunson is driving into the paint, and yes, there is going to be some congestion, look what you have out there. You have Cat in the right corner, or above the break to the left of in the center, and you have, as Mitch starts rim running from the left corner, you can have OG or Mikal fill that space that becomes open because the defense is going to collapse around Mitch, around that hoop, and then you're going to get wide open corner threes. And this is one of the best corner three-point shooting teams in the NBA. So you can't tell me that even offensively, it's not going to help us. Now, it's going to change us a bit. Of course, it's going to change us. But defensively, you're not going to tell me that Mitch is not going to make an impact defensively for this team? I just cannot comprehend anyone thinking otherwise. And then when you have Mitch, you have OG, you can throw out Precious, Mikal, and then Deuce as a five-some. If a team is blazing hot, especially out on the perimeter, you can now create so much congestion out on the perimeter that's going to force guys to drive, make them scare them off the three-point line, force them to drive, and then you have the block nest monster ready to meet them at the hoop. Okay, that's what I cannot wait. I'm salivating to see all of that. Is he going to catapult the Knicks clearly above the Cavs and the Celtics? No, he's not. But is he going to make them competitive against these teams? Absolutely. And in fact, I think against the Cavs, I think he will make us better than the Cavs. I do believe it. The Cavs, they haven't proven shit yet. Hate to say it. They haven't. I mean, okay, so they're doing great in the regular season. How come teams are shitting all over us? We're a great regular season team, but we can't beat the elite teams. Well, you know what? The Cavs are 1-2 against the Celtics. They split the games against OKC. So it's not like they're dominating the elite teams. Yes, we have lost to them, but that's why tomorrow's game is crucial in terms of showing up. We still won't have Mitch. I doubt Mitch will be available for tomorrow. It'll be a miracle if he comes back for tomorrow. It'd be a wonderful miracle. But I'm hoping at least OG is available tomorrow and Josh Hart is available tomorrow, and I give ourselves an excellent chance to be able to take that game and reset the narrative against this Knicks. But all the Knicks have to do is show up. Show up. Don't be dominated. Give yourselves a chance to win this game. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's just another game to learn from moving forward into the playoffs. I really believe this team is not going to peak until it really fucking matters. All right. Thank you so much for watching this. Tomorrow is going to be a big game. Can't wait to see that game. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse. Let's go.